Okay, just want to clarify something. Rabbi introduced a concept. The person wants to marry two sisters simultaneously. So the Mishnah says he's married to neither. He's married to neither. He says he gives money to one sister, and this sister is appointed by the other sister to be her agent to accept kiddushin. And he says, "Harei at mukudoshos li," with this money that I'm giving you. No, he says he's marrying. He's marrying the woman. She's the agent. She's herself and representing her sister. With one action, he wants to marry both of them simultaneously. So the Mishnah says they're not married. So the Gemara says, what is the rationale? What's the reason? Because anything which cannot take place consecutively cannot take place simultaneously. That's the principle Rabbi says. Kol shebeinu zeh chazeh, afilu vasa achazeno. Cannot take place. So what is the rationale, the way we understand it? The Torah says if a man is married to a woman, the Torah says now you want to marry the sister, the marriage cannot take effect. Why? Because the end result is you married to two sisters. So if you marry two sisters simultaneously, and I want both to take effect. So if both take effect, that means you're married to two sisters. The Torah says you cannot be married to two sisters. So anything which cannot come about consecutively cannot come about simultaneously. Okay, but now there's another question. But let him be married to one of them. Wait 1 second. So the question is, which one? So since there's no way to say which one, so he's married to neither. There are two aspects to it. Firstly, it's clear the Torah doesn't want this relationship to exist whatsoever, that a man's married to two sisters, because that we see from one cannot follow the other. But let it minimally be one. The answer is, since there's no way to choose which one, so neither are married. Of course, initially, what did he say? He wants to be married to both of them. If there would be an Anand Sadi, so that's his sense. It's like he would say, I want to marry both, but if I can't be married to both of you, I want to marry the older one. Let's see, he would verbalize that. Then he's married to the older one.
He doesn't say anything.
So then we would go, it's Durham Shibalev. So what he wants to be married to both, you can't be married to both. And since there's no way, so say at least one should be. No, but he said both. It's not a prayer. It's not a prayer. No, it's Durham Shibalev. It's Durham Shibalev. He did say, I want to be married to both of you. Well, that's it. No, we don't give him that choice. It's Dvarim Shebelev. That's Dvarim Shebelev. If we could say with certainty, if he can't be married to both, he wants to be married to the older, then he's married to the older one. It's similar. It's irrelevant what he says now. It's irrelevant what he says. It's too late. You want to do a new act of marriage? We'll do it over again. The two discussions. Firstly, it's conceptual. There's the concept. Something which can't take place consecutively can't take place simultaneously. But the question is, but since he wanted it to take effect, maybe one should take effect? No. Since he said initially both, so it can't be. No question. Just stating a fact. Because the Gemara is going to ask on this. And the question is, why is the question a question, what the Gemara asks from? The Gemara is going to ask a question on the principle of Rabbah. Esvei Abaye. Hamarbe b'maser. Right? The person has to tithe his produce that grows in Eretz Yisrael, a tenth. Instead of taking 10%, he takes 20%. So if a person takes 20% of the tevel, so the Mishnah says that what he tithed, what he affected, becomes chulin. It's a valid tithing. Now the question, what about the tithe itself? What is the status of the tithe? It can be all meiser, right? Because there's no such thing as meiser means 10%. So we're saying it's effective. It's an effective tithing, although he took more than he was supposed to take. No. The Torah says 10%. He took 20%. Let's get the facts before he has to. No, I'm telling you. Instead of taking 10%, he took 20%. He didn't give anything to the Levi yet. Right? That's a separate, that's an after thing. Separate that. Immediately, right? Let's say you take 10%. You're permitted to eat what you tithed? Definitely you're permitted to eat. Now what I have now, I have to give to the Levi. It's a separate discussion. What I do with the tithe, right? So we're saying what was affected properly. Now the question, what is the status of that tithe? So Marbe b'maser, he took more than he should have taken for maser. Peirosa of Mesukonim. What he tithed is what? Is correct, is affected. Becomes permitted. It's chulin. Masros mukukolim. But the maser, the tithe that he has, is what is problematic. Because why? Because since he took more than he was supposed to take, so the percentage of more was never tithed. Correct? It's tevel. Correct? That extra 10% was never tithed. So here we have an entity which is a mixture of maser and what? And tevel. So if you'd give it to a Levi now, could a Levi eat it? Levi can't eat it. Because it's a mixture. It's maser. We'll see in a moment. It's maser and it's tevel. V'mai nemo. No. Truma, you could take as much truma as you want. Torah didn't say it. It says, it's chitachas b'teres zakri. You could take as much as a kernel, or you give everything as long as you leave something over. You want to give 99.99% of your field to truma. Since you're tithing something, so as long as there's something left that is considered tithing, whatever you remove, that tithe is truma. But maser, Torah says 10%. That's what Torah says. It doesn't become maser. It doesn't become. But now the question is: but is that act an effective act? As it says in the Mishnah, it's effective. And what is the status? So what you tithe, you're permitted to eat. That's peirosa b'sukonim. His produce is tithed. However, what about the maser, the 20% he has, mukukolim? If that already is considered problematic, damaged. Mukukolim, all of it. A Levi cannot eat that. It's not good percentage. It's a mixture of tevel and maser. Okay? No, there is a way to fix it now. You have to. You could fix it because now you go. Now, 50% of this is tevel. I take other tevel, right, and I add it to that. Now I take 10% with adding this to that, and I tithe. So now, the reason why it's damaged is because it's 50% tevel, 50% maser. So if I take the volume of that and add it to something else and take 10% of the tevel, that's going to be affected. Whatever that is, but I'm adding that 50%. Let's say that 50% is 10 pounds of tevel, right? 10 pounds of tevel. So now I add it to something else, which is tevel. Now I take 10% of the total. So when I tithe that tevel that's in this mixture is no longer tevel. It's chulin. So that doesn't make a difference. Let's have stones and have straw, which have no relevance to be tithed. The chulin is maser is like chulin. Maser is chulin. So it's like other material mixed in there. See, take from itself I can't, because if you're taking from itself, part of it already has been tithed. You can only tithe from something which has not been tithed. Let's say you have 1 pound which hasn't been tithed, right? He took 2 pounds instead of he was supposed to take 1 pound. He took 2 pounds. So 1 pound in this mixture hasn't been tithed. Now I take another 9 pounds of tevel. 9 pounds, and I put it together with this. Now I take 1 of that 9, which is, and this is part of that, so I have 10. So I have 10 pounds untithed tevel, and I take 1 pound, I say that's maser. So by taking that 1, it's a tenth of the total. So now the tevel, which is mixed with the maser, becomes chulin. So now I can give it to the Levi. So now the Levi, why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it work? You took 2 pounds initially, which is one too many. Wait. Let's first get together. You took 1 too many. So this 2 pounds now, 50% is maser, 50% is tevel. So tevel has to be tithed. I can't tithe from itself because I don't know which is what. No, not I add, no. So I take another 9 pounds of tevel and put this next to it. It says, now I... Not 11 pounds. No, but the mass is considered like non-existent. What would be if I add chulin to it? Chulin. Right? Or add whatever, or I add meat there. Meat has no relevance to it. Doesn't make a difference. But the additional pound has no relevance to the tithing process. Because there's only 10 pounds of tevel. So what the Torah says now, you have to tithe tevel. How much do you have to tithe of tevel? A tenth. And now everything's corrected. You don't have to. It does work because that addition.
No, I'm going to show the math doesn't work. Initially, if I added 9 pounds of tevel, if I'd done everything correctly, what would the Levi have got? The Levi would have gotten 1 pound from the first, and from the second 9, you would have got 0.9.
No, wait. Let's say you have tevel originally, he did it right. A tenth of whatever that was goes to the Levi, right? But over here, because he took part of the tevel as the tithe, so the percentage of tevel in the tithe hasn't been tithed, because that he removed. So that tevel has to be tithed. So 50% of the maser, what we call maser, is not maser. It's tevel. So if it's 1 pound, so now what do you do with that? You take another 9 pounds. So now he says, how much tevel do I have in the total? I have 10 pounds of tevel. Correct? Do I have 10 pounds of tevel? Torah says when you have tevel, you take a tenth. When you take a tenth of the mixture of the grouping, now the one is given to the Levi, and the rest is ordinary food.
This procedure chips the Levi. He comes out short.
All right, it doesn't care. He gets,
Because he had half a
I'll
pound.
prove it to you.
He had half a pound
It's
of
very
rice
simple.
before.
We have, let's suppose we had 10 to start, and he took 2 pounds. Okay, instead of 1 pound.
so he only tithed.
So he took 20%. This is the example. He had 10 to start. Okay, he took 2 instead of taking 1. All right?
Okay.
Now, the next time you're going to add 9 to this to try to fix it. So in total there were 19 to begin with. The lady should have got 1.9. Correct? That's how it would have been. How much is the lady going to get now if we will correct the process?
2.
No.
The original
Well, he gets 1. He gets too much. Again, he got
Doesn't make a difference. It does, but he's getting a tenth. He's getting a tenth of whatever it is. He's getting a tenth. He got a tenth of what he removed it from initially, but we couldn't give it all to him. Now, eventually, you're going to give him the total of everything.
It doesn't add up to what
50% of what he has now, he can't take because 50% is tevel. Which is the tevel? He doesn't know which is the tevel. So now you take the other 50% and you're going to tithe it. So, but now it's going to become chulin.
But instead of getting 1.9, he's going to get 1.1.
Original 10 plus so original 10 is 1. Yeah, I know. But he only stores 1, right? So that leaves 9, and then you take 1 more. 10. So it's 10 from there. So 10 from there is 2. Is 1. And 1 is 2. He gets 2. The lady will get 2.
Okay.
When you have the second one to fix it, you have 2 to start in that mixture, and you've added 9, so there's 11.
No, 1 is not counted. That's what I'm saying.
No, but there is physically 11.
But it's irrelevant. I say, what happens if you have stones and straw there? It's irrelevant.
But how do you tithe? You have 11 pounds.
No, because you say, whatever part of it is tevel, I'm tithing.
How much do you take out of that 11?
No, you take 1. No, only 50% of that. 1 versus the 50% of that.
One already belongs to
The lady's standing up here. How much?
50% of that is already the ladies. So how much of that do I have to tithe? Only 50% of that do I have to tithe, which is 1 pound. So the 1 pound I add with another 9 pounds, and I take 1 of those of now this grouping, and now what's in that mixture now becomes chulin. And now the lady gets 2. No, in the total he gets 2. Now, but now you're only taking 1. You took originally 1. You did it because 50% was 1.
Yeah, but you didn't.
Physically, you took 2.
Now you've got 2 pounds. Now you've
I
got
know.
to add to the 2,
Wait a
you've got to add
second.
9.
Yeah, correct.
You've got 11 there.
Correct. But again,
So you take 2 out of the 11.
Yeah.
And that's what you get to the Levi.
ultimately you're giving 2 to the Levi. At the end of the day, you're giving 2 to the Levi. Out of 20.
So you're not tithing.
No, you're tithing that part of that entity. Part of the entity.
Tithing usually means you take a 10. That's why
No, tithing. You're not removing anything from that mixture. Right? From that mixture, you're not taking anything. Because when you take, you may be taking the maser. Well, already was tithed, you can't tithe any longer. So you have to take from something which definitely was not tithed.
What is the procedure? When I'm sitting with the 11 in front of me, I first take 2
Basically,
pounds.
you have, how many pounds of tevel do you have?
In that thing, I've got 9.
No, together with the additional that I add. I have 10 pounds of tevel. I have 10 pounds of tevel. And 1 pound of meiser. So now you take 1 pound of tevel, and you say that's the Levi's. So how much meiser does the Levi have now? He has 2 pounds of meiser. The original pound plus the new pound. So you'll give it now. Now you give him the original. See, originally you couldn't give it to him because you took too much. And say half of that was tevel. So you couldn't eat it. So how do I correct it? By taking another 9, taking an additional 1, now I give him 2.
When you add 9, you've got 11 in the mixture, correct?
But no, you have, it's
That's
I-
what you physically.
it's 10, the physical, but it's irrelevant.
Physically, in front of you, you've got a vodka.
Yes. But that 11 already, half of that belongs to the Levi already.
You've got 11. You've got to just take a scoop and you take 2 pounds out of the 11, and you're done.
No, you can't take 2 out of the 11. No. That original entity, you have to leave by itself.
So you leave the original entity.
By itself, and now you take another, and from that 9, you take 1. From that
So you
9,
don't mix the 2.
no, you don't mix it. You put them next, they have to be just next to one another.
Next to one another. So what do?
You take 1 of the 9.
And 1 out of the other one.
You ready? No,
So you haven't taken 1 out.
no, you can't. When you take 1 out of the 9, factually, the original maser, it's maser and chulin, right? So that's a non-Kohen, a non-Levi is permitted to eat maser.
I'm just trying to understand the mechanics of it. What the lady's standing next to me. With
I'm
his hands
telling you.
open, So what am I giving him now? How do I
Okay,
do it?
you give him 2 pounds.
Where do the 2 pounds come from? I've got two.
You
buckets
give him
in
that
front of me.
original 2 pounds that you took too much.
Yeah,
Take these 2 pounds.
that's good.
That's good, not a problem.
And the
But
other
he has to be agreeable that what I tithe, I could take for myself, because it's an exchange. Because
now
factually,
we're getting into the whole thing.
no, because factually it's chulin, right? Factually it's chulin.
So the 9 that I put there, I don't have to touch it because there's an exchange going on.
No, you have to tithe it. What do you have to? You have to tithe from the 9. You have to take 1 of the 9 to make it into maser.
But the one of the 9 that you're taking is the half of it.
No, you're affecting the half. You're affecting the half.
So I've got 2 buckets in front of me.
You hear what I'm saying?
I'm just asking.
It's not so complicated.
No, it's not.
Here we have a coin down at the end. The coin's also eligible for maser.
I've got 2 buckets in front of me. 1 bucket has 9 and 1 bucket has 2.
2.
Okay. I got to get 2 into the hands of the lady.
Wait a second.
How am I going to do
Now wait 1 second. Okay? Why can't I take? Let's forget about it. Why can't I say, take from the tevel itself, from the maser itself, take? Right? Because it's tevel. Because you may be taking from the maser on that. So I take 9 others, which are definitely tevel. And I say, I'm taking one. Now it's together with that. So how much tevel do I have here? I have 10. 10 pounds of tevel. I have 2 pounds of tevel. 1 pound, which is half of the too much that I took, plus another 9.
No, but you're explaining the.
No, I understand that. I understand what you're
want you to
asking.
give me
I'm
instructions.
instructing.
I've got a
I'm
scoop here. Now tell
forget
me,
about the
what
scoop.
do I tell you?
forgot about the scoop. Eat the tevel, right? So I have 10 little packages of tevel. I have 9 packages, and I have 2 packages. And the package, which is 2 pounds. Put them all together. They're not intermingled, next to one another. Torah says now you take a 10 of the tevel, give it to the Levi.
Give him 2 packets.
Of what? You give him 2 packets, correct?
Anything.
No, wait, no. You're supposed to give him maser. I take maser. It says, Levi, take the chulin. No, the mitzvah is to give the maser to the Levi.
How do I? But let's just, I've got the sugar here, and it's just in a big. I've got 9 pounds in this container. I've got 2 pounds in this container, and I've got a scoop, and I've got to give the man 2 pounds.
You give him
How
2
do I do
pounds.
it? How do I do it?
Well, first you have to tithe it. Forget about giving. Let's first tithe it.
What,
Let's first tithe it. Then we'll talk about giving. It's a 2-step process. First we have to tithe.
so I've got 2
You-
pounds here, which was
you have-
faulty time.
It was faulty. You created a complication because we don't know exactly which is the maser. Of course it's maser.
But that's,
It's not, well, so it's intermingled, but 50% is maser. Forget about zeb zachazel. Let's talk about the halacha. I'm not talking about the question. Of course it's maser. Because it was a valid tithing. No, but again, you can't make more maser more than 10%. You took too much. So 50% of that mixture is maser. So now, so at 50% of that entity is maser. At 50% is tevel. So now, the Torah says when you tithe tevel, you have to take 10%. So I take another 9 measures, put it next to it. Now, what do I tithe from? I tithe from the new 9 that I associated with it. I take 1/10.
which is 0.9. I just want to know. I've got a scoop in front of me. I'm going
Forget
to
about the scoops. What about the
Forget
scoops?
about the scoop. I need instructions on how.
I'm telling you how to
Stop
do it.
telling me how to do it.
The farmer goes, he bundles everything. He has bushels. He has bushels of whatever it is, bushels of grain. Okay? Initially, he had bushels of grain. He took too much. From the original mixture, he took too much. He took 2 bushels instead of 1 bushel. He took 2 instead of 1. So now we have a problem. Okay? So these 2 are problematic. 50% masa, 50% tevel. So he takes another 9 bushels of tevel. So he has 10 eligible bushels that have to be tithed. He takes one of those bushels, and he says, "This is maser." Wait a second. Forget it makes sense. Let's get the fact. Okay, we're not learning dictum now. Okay, so we're taking. So now you have to take one of those 9, which is 1/10 of the totality, which hasn't been tithed. That's maser. That definitely goes to the Levi. That's maser. Now, the original 2, one of them is chulin. Which one's chulin? I don't know which one's chulin. So you know what to do? Give one of them to the Levi. So the Levi is receiving now 2 bushels. Forget about. Let's get the fact. You'll ask me a question in a second. So the Levi now is receiving 2 bushels for his maser, and that's the end of the story. He's receiving no less. But what I'm only pointing out this. Oh, good. Now I'm going to get there. Now I'm going to get there, right? Just let's get the fact. So he gives 2 bushels to the Levi. When he gives one of the bushels to the Levi, it's unclear if he's getting the chulin bushel or he's getting the masa bushel, correct? But it doesn't make a difference. Because financially, he's getting 2 bushels. He has to be agreeable that if, in fact, it's one of the bushels he's getting his chulin, he's relinquishing his maser to me. Because I have no right to take his maser. Right? The Yisrael's the one who has the problem. He may be receiving the maser. So what he does is he gives it to the Levi. The Levi says, something, you take, I received 2 bushels of maser definitely. He has to receive, so really at the end of the day he has to give him 3 bushels. And he gives him back 1. Because otherwise he may have not given the maser. He has to give 2 bushels of maser to the Levi.
So now we're getting something. Now I'm.
That's what I'm saying. You ask questions from 6 different ways, and you have to set the foundation over here.
He's going to get 3, and he's going to give him 1 back.
He's going to give him 1 back. Correct.
So that's how the mechanics work. So that was the piece I was missing.
Okay.
Why doesn't he just say if I gave
No, because he has. There's a mitzvah. He may have not given him ma'aser. You have to give maser to the Levi. He may have given chulin to the Levi.
That's a big piece. That's a big piece.
Because of the 2 bushels that originally you took, which one is the maser bushel?
tevel that's mixed in with the matzah, use that bushel of tevel to tie the other 9.
No.
So the lady can stay with his 2.
So then you have,
Then you don't have to trade. Just say, okay, you keep your 2. I brought in this 9. I tied it with the one that was there.
you could do that too. Yeah,
One of
David.
them is the one of them is the first 10, one of them is the second.
Okay. You could do that also. You could do that also. You could do that also. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's get back. Okay. Now let's get back to the question. So we got the fact down. So it says the tithing is valid tithing. Umaisrus mukukolin. V'mai nemo kol she'ini b'zecha ze'afil v'asecha seino. He originally says, I want both bushels to be maser. That's what he said. What happens if he would have tithed 1 of 10 and would have taken 11th and says, I want this to be maser? Would have meant anything. Means nothing. So over here he said, I want both bushels to be maser. He made a mistake. Right? But he said, I want both to be. You can't have two. Because just if you would do it consecutively, the 11th means nothing. So anything which can't take place consecutively, even simultaneously, should be nothing. Because you can't have two. So why is it effective? It should be ineffective, and let it all be tevel. That's the Gemara's question. Omar lei, he says it's not comparable. Shiny mice nislu chatzoyin. What does that mean? What he meant when he took the 2, he said, maser, let's say a person would say, I'm taking these 2 bushels, I want 50% of these 2 bushels to be maser. Is it effective? It is, because factually it's a 10th. So when he said the 2, since theoretically, if he would say that, not theoretically, he would say it would be 50%, when he said both, he wants maser to be effective. Whatever way it can be effective, so it can be effective by being 50%, that's what he wants. No, it's not. It's tevel. It's tevel. It's tevel for every, it has to be tithed. I want maser to be effective. It could be effective. Because if he would have said, I want 50% of this mixture to be tithed, it should be maser. That could happen. Which one? 50% is tevel, 50% is maser. When you say, I want both sisters to be married to me, there's no such thing as, if he would say, I want 50%, you should be married. 50% of each, either you to be married. There's no such thing. So that's that's how we're differentiating, the Gemara says. The other Kaddish palga dechitzo. Palga dechitzo. If you say, I want 50% of each kernel to be maser. Kocha. It assumes the status of what? Of maser. But by 2 sisters, it's not possible. It's either all or nothing. I want both sisters to be. If not, which one should be? 50 of each? You can't have one, because he said, I want each one to be effective. That we have that in the first pair. Yeah. You can own 50% of it. Evet chatzi ben chorin.
The way we resolved this is he gave him 3, and the man gave him 1. The lady gave him 1.
Well, Moshe said something. You could really tithe even that. You could say the other one, which is tevel, whichever one it is, that one should be the maser for the other 9. You can do that also. He doesn't have to do the exchange.
He doesn't have to do this.
No.
So when you but let's suppose the man took the 20% and he's got this excess there, and the rabbi says to him, I'm sorry, this doesn't work. We have to fix this problem. Why could they to fix it? What's wrong with the problem? He gives the 20% to the lady.
No, he could do it.
He says, give me 10 back. Give me half back.
You're giving him tevel. He has to tithe it. 50% has to be tithed. 50% of that mixture is untithed. So therefore, he has to take the other 9 tithed. So let this be the maser for the other 9.
It's not the other is tithe.
Correct.
It's a mixture.
Right, of tevel and maser. Correct. Okay. Someone asks, very maser behemo. The lekelechatzoyim. Right? The person has a flock. They go through the small opening, He counts 10. When he says 10, that becomes maser. What's maser? When he says 10, it's kochim kalim. The 10th animal that goes through the what? That's maser. What happens if two of them walk through, and he calls both of them 10? What's the status? We'll see. Doesn't make a difference. No. Animals, it's not based on weight. Grain, it's based on volume. As long as it could walk. As long as the animal could walk. You have an animal which is, they have to be born during the same year. One was born at the beginning of the year, the other one was born at the end of the year. And all the animals could walk under the rod. They go under the rod. And then the 10th, it's the smallest of the group, it's tithe, it's valid tithing. It has nothing to do with volume. It's animals. You can do whatever you want. You can even line them up the way you want. Doesn't make a difference. So what happens, let's say, so let's say a person took the 10th and then the 11th walked out. And he would call, right, what's the status of the 11th? The 11th is not maser. Maser means the 10th animal that goes through. When it comes to the 10th, two animals walk out as together. The Koran Asiri. And he pronounces, he says 10. So he's referring to both. Asir v'charosa murovim zebozeh. The 10th and 11th are a mixture, we'll see, of Maser and Shlomim, which each one has a different status, even though they're both Kochim Kalim. They're both Hegdish. And over here, once you call 10, the 11th means nothing. Be it here, when he said simultaneously, they're both affected. Why they're both affected? To be continued.